The world is changing faster than most people can emotionally process. Every week, there's a new headline warning us that artificial intelligence is about to replace millions of jobs, destroy industries, rewrite society, and maybe even wipe out humanity itself. CEOs stand on giant stages promising a future so advanced it almost sounds religious. Investors throw billions into AI companies. Social media feeds are filled with people claiming that if you don't master AI immediately, your life is over. And somewhere in the middle of all this noise, regular people are sitting at home wondering a simple question: is any of this actually real? Because when you step away from the headlines and look around, most people's lives still feel exactly the same. People still go to work. Students still cram for exams. Businesses still struggle to grow. Parents still worry about bills. Yet online, it feels like we're standing 5 minutes away from a robot apocalypse. And according to Scott Galloway, that fear might not be an accident. He believes much of the panic surrounding AI isn't really about informing the public. It's about selling a story powerful enough to justify trillion-dollar valuations, massive investments, and the concentration of enormous power into the hands of a few tech companies. Think about it. If you convince the world your technology will completely reshape civilization, investors will throw money at you. Governments will fear regulating you. Employees will work harder because they think they're building the future of humanity. The bigger the promise, the bigger the valuation. And that's exactly what's happening right now. Some of the most powerful people in Silicon Valley are simultaneously telling us AI is humanity's greatest opportunity and humanity's greatest threat. Fear and excitement are being sold together like two sides of the same product. But here's the thing. Most people forget. We've seen this before. Every major technological revolution came with predictions of doom. When electricity spread across cities, people feared it would destroy society. When cars replaced horses, entire industries collapsed. When the internet emerged, millions believed it would eliminate countless jobs forever. And yes, technology did destroy certain jobs, but it also created industries nobody could have imagined before. Entire careers that didn't exist 20 years ago are now normal. Social media managers, app developers, content creators, data analysts, UX designers. The economy adapts because humans adapt. That doesn't mean AI won't cause pain. It absolutely will. Some jobs are already disappearing. Administrative work is becoming automated. Basic content generation is becoming easier. Companies are reducing headcount because software can now complete tasks that once required teams of people. And if you're someone sitting in a cubicle doing repetitive digital tasks every single day, you probably should be nervous. But Galloway argues that the narrative being pushed online that all human labor is about to become obsolete is massively exaggerated. Because the most valuable human skills have never been purely technical. The most valuable people in society are the ones who can build trust, create emotion, tell stories, understand psychology, and form relationships. AI can generate information, but it still struggles to generate meaning. It can imitate emotion, but it cannot truly feel it. And in a world flooded with artificial content, genuine human connection becomes more valuable, not less. Imagine two restaurants. One uses AI for everything: automated greetings, robot servers, AI-generated music, algorithmically optimized menus. The other has a charismatic owner who remembers your name, jokes with customers, and makes you feel important every time you walk in. Which place do people become loyal to? Which place feels human? Technology can improve efficiency, but it cannot replace authenticity. And as AI becomes more common, authenticity becomes rarer. Scarcity creates value. That's why storytelling matters more than ever. People don't buy products because of specifications. They buy stories, they buy feelings, they buy identity. The companies dominating the world today are masters of emotional branding. People line up overnight for phones they technically don't need because those products represent status, aspiration, and belonging. AI may automate production, but humans will still control culture. The ability to communicate emotion will remain one of the most powerful skills on earth. But while the AI conversation dominates headlines, Galloway believes something much deeper is happening beneath the surface. The real crisis isn't just technological, it's societal. Trust is collapsing, institutions are weakening, and the global image of the United States, once viewed as the center of opportunity and stability, is beginning to erode. For decades, America represented ambition. People around the world saw it as a place where innovation thrived, talent was rewarded, and the future was being built. But now, political division, economic inequality, and cultural fragmentation are changing that image. The wealthy are becoming wealthier through ownership of technology and assets, while ordinary people feel increasingly left behind. And that disconnect creates resentment. If you own shares in AI companies, technological acceleration feels exciting, your portfolio rises, your wealth increases. But if you're struggling to pay rent while hearing billionaires talk about replacing workers with machines, AI doesn't feel inspiring. It feels threatening. This is where populism begins to grow. When large groups of people feel disconnected from the prosperity being celebrated by elites. And perhaps the strangest part of all this is how some of the people building the future seem terrified of it themselves. Galloway points to the growing trend of tech billionaires purchasing remote compounds, building underground bunkers, and preparing go bags in places like New Zealand. Think about how bizarre that is. The same people telling us technology will improve humanity are privately preparing for societal collapse. That contradiction says a lot. It reveals something deeply unsettling about modern power. Many of the people shaping society no longer seem emotionally invested in preserving it. There's a nihilistic streak emerging in parts of Silicon Valley, a belief that systems are temporary, collapse is inevitable, and survival belongs to whoever has the most resources. It's almost like some tech leaders view civilization the same way startups view markets. Disrupt everything first and deal with the consequences later. And that's exactly why Galloway argues society cannot blindly trust tech CEOs, because their incentives are not aligned with the public. Their responsibility is to maximize growth, revenue, and shareholder value. That's not evil. That's simply the system they operate within. But it does mean we need independent regulation. We need guardrails. History shows what happens when industries become powerful without oversight. Banks crashed economies. Oil companies damaged environments. Social media platforms reshaped mental health and politics before society fully understood the consequences. The problem is that governments often move slower than technology. By the time regulators understand a new system, that system has already transformed culture. Social media reached billions before anyone truly understood its psychological effects. AI may follow the same pattern. We're deploying technologies into society before we fully understand how they'll impact jobs, relationships, education, creativity, and even human identity itself. And maybe the most dangerous effect of all is psychological exhaustion. People are overwhelmed. Every day brings more information, more fear, more outrage, more uncertainty. Humans were not designed to process the emotional weight of global crises 24 hours a day. Yet modern technology forces us to absorb the anxieties of the entire world constantly. Economic fears, political chaos, war, AI disruption, climate concerns. The human nervous system is overloaded. That's part of why people are becoming more cynical. Many no longer believe institutions will protect them. Younger generations, especially, feel trapped between impossible expectations and shrinking opportunities. Housing is expensive, competition is intense, stability feels fragile, and now they're being told AI may replace them before they even build careers. It creates a constant feeling of instability. But Galloway also pushes back against hopelessness because despite all the chaos, human history has always been chaotic. Every generation believes it's living through unprecedented collapse. Yet society continues adapting, humans continue building, and opportunities continue emerging in unexpected places. In fact, some of the biggest opportunities in the next decade may belong to people who combine technical tools with deeply human skills. AI can help produce content, but it still needs humans with vision. AI can generate ideas, but humans decide which ideas emotionally resonate. AI can automate workflows, but it cannot replace trust built through relationships. The winners of the future may not be the people who compete against AI, but the people who learn how to collaborate with it. And ironically, the rise of artificial intelligence may increase demand for real human experiences. Think about it. The more digital the world becomes, the more people crave authenticity. Live events become more valuable. In-person conversations become more meaningful. Human-made art becomes more appreciated precisely because it's imperfect. Imperfection is becoming proof of humanity. There's also another fascinating possibility. Galloway suggests AI could actually reduce extremism online. Why? Because AI systems tend to gravitate toward the average of available information. Extreme views often represent statistical outliers. If AI increasingly mediates communication, recommendation systems, and interactions, the internet could potentially become less emotionally explosive over time. That doesn't mean AI becomes morally perfect, but it does raise an interesting question. Could machines become more emotionally stable than humans? Because humans are deeply irrational creatures. We are tribal, emotional, biased. We panic easily. We chase status. We spread outrage because outrage captures attention. Modern platforms amplify those instincts because attention generates profit. And in many ways, social media has weaponized human psychology against itself. That's why emotional intelligence is becoming such an important survival skill. The ability to stay calm during chaos, the ability to think critically instead of react impulsively, the ability to communicate effectively, build relationships, and maintain perspective while the world constantly screams for your attention. These skills are difficult to automate because they're fundamentally human. Galloway also reflects on economic cycles and how luck plays a much bigger role in success than most people admit. During the 2008 financial crisis, even highly intelligent and successful people were blindsided. Entire industries collapsed. Careers disappeared overnight. People who thought they were financially secure suddenly found themselves vulnerable. It was a reminder that external conditions shape outcomes far more than individual effort alone. That lesson matters today because modern culture often promotes a dangerous illusion, that success is entirely within your control. Social media glorifies hustle culture and personal branding to the point where people feel personally responsible for every outcome in their lives. If you fail, you blame yourself completely. But reality is far more complicated. Timing matters, economic conditions matter, luck matters, geography matters, connections matter. Understanding this doesn't mean giving up responsibility. It means staying humble. It means recognizing that life is partly skill and partly circumstance. The people who survive difficult periods aren't always the smartest. Often, they're the most adaptable, the most resilient, the people willing to reinvent themselves when conditions change. And that may be the ultimate lesson of the AI era. Adaptability matters more than certainty. Nobody truly knows how this technology will reshape the world. Not politicians, not journalists, not billionaires, not even the engineers building it. Anyone claiming complete certainty about the future is probably selling something. But uncertainty doesn't automatically mean disaster. Every major technological shift has created fear because it forces society to evolve. AI will absolutely disrupt industries. Some careers will disappear, others will explode in demand. Entire business models will change, but humanity itself is not becoming obsolete. Human desire, emotion, ambition, love, insecurity, curiosity, and connection still drive civilization. Machines may optimize systems, but humans create meaning. And maybe that's what people are really afraid of. Not that AI becomes smarter than us, but that it forces us to confront what actually makes us valuable. If a machine can write reports, generate images, answer questions, and automate repetitive tasks, then human worth can no longer depend purely on productivity. We may need to rediscover qualities that technology cannot easily replicate: empathy, courage, humor, leadership, morality, creativity, and love. Because at the end of the day, civilization is not built on code alone. It's built on relationships between people, families, communities, friendships, trust, shared stories, shared purpose. Technology changes tools, but it does not erase human nature. And perhaps the biggest mistake society could make right now is allowing fear to dominate the conversation. Fear is profitable. Fear gets clicks. Fear keeps people scrolling. But fear also clouds judgment. It pushes people toward extremes. It makes society easier to manipulate. The future should be approached with caution, yes, but also with perspective. The internet often makes history feel immediate and catastrophic, but humans have survived world wars, depressions, pandemics, revolutions, and technological upheavals before. The future has always looked uncertain from inside the present moment. Yet somehow, people continue moving forward. So maybe the question isn't whether AI will destroy humanity. Maybe the real question is whether humanity can remain emotionally grounded while building tools powerful enough to reshape civilization. Can we maintain ethics while chasing innovation? Can we preserve human dignity in an increasingly automated economy? Can we prevent technology from widening inequality even further? Can we build systems that serve society instead of just shareholders? Those questions matter far more than whether a chatbot can write an essay or generate an image, because technology itself is never the final story. Human choices are. And in the middle of all the noise, one truth becomes increasingly clear. The people who thrive in the future probably won't be the ones endlessly panicking about AI online. They'll be the ones learning, adapting, building relationships, telling stories, and developing skills that make them more human, not less. Because the future may belong to artificial intelligence, but meaning will always belong to people.